everyone. At Vishnu IAS Academy, we are coming up with interview training program, a free initiative whereby daily newspaper will be discussed. Everyone, whoever are going for interview, join us, and whoever are not going for interview, the news will be useful for you. Thank you. Yes, everyone. Very good evening. Yes, we will start the session. Yes. A common news in today's newspaper. Over 13 lakhs evacuated as Yas races towards Odisha's coastline. So yesterday we discussed about four colors of alertness, which we will be issuing at the time of cyclone: yellow, green, orange, and red. So this is mainly about cyclone evacuation, which happened because of Yas, the cyclone formed in Bay of Bengal. New IT rules come into force today. So tell me, what are the new rules for social media intermediaries such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, etc.? What are these new regulations? Yes. Manoj Kumar, can you answer what are these new regulations? Kiran Kumar?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
No, Manoj.
Sir, these new IT rules are made applicable from May 26th. So
Yes.
they need to establish a 3-tier self-regulating mechanism. For that, social media intermediaries with significant presence should appoint nodal officers who should be resident of India. And also they should acknowledge the grievances of any of the users within 1 day and should solve them by 15 days. Also, they should file complaints report every month.
Very good. So,
yes.
Yes, please go on.
These social media intermediaries actually have accepted these regulations, but they requested some more time to comply with these regulations.
For example, WhatsApp, if we take, what is that they want to, government want to trace, that means the originating message for the forwarded messages. Is it not?
Yes, sir. They also need to identify the message origin. If government enforcement agencies ask the nodal officer to do so, if any information is against the interest of India.
Very good. Yes. Yes. Harati, there is something called as two-state solution and one-state solution for Israeli-Palestina issue. Can you please tell me about two-state solution?
The two-state solution, according to it, the region which is now should be divided into two sovereign countries. One is Palestine and other is Israel. So this plan was also accepted by the UN immediately after the war. Accordingly, the state of Israel came up, but the Arab Palestine or the sovereign Palestine has not come up yet. So two-state solution is typically refers to two countries here or two states here, Palestine and Israel.
Yes, very good. Manoj Kumar, if internet is fine, please tell me, or Nagababu, then what is this one-state solution? Here in the article, there is a mention about one-state solution. What is this one-state solution?
So, two-state solution hasn't come into reality for a long period of time, sir. So there are few proposers who say that two-state solution may not be achievable. So we need to move to one-state solution where original Arab Muslims and Jews would reside in a single country. They may be semi-autonomous states with semi-autonomous unit with few rights for those special areas, sir, like the areas like Gaza Strip and West Bank, sir.
Okay. Similarly, how in the country Belgium, how the Germans, French-speaking people, Spanish-speaking people staying together in the capital city of Brussels, how the power has been distributed. So in the same way, one state is enough. but there is a requirement of proper division of power between those two territories or between the two ethnic populations. Is it not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My one more question, Vinay Vamshi, to you. There is a concept called as anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism. So can you tell me what is this Zionism? What is this Semitism? What is this anti-Semitism? What is this anti-Zionism?
Anti-Semitism is general hatred or antipathy towards Jews in general, whereas anti-Zionism is a statement against the state of Israel, like the particular like Jewish state, the concept of a Jewish state in Palestine. Opposing that is anti-Zionism, whereas anti-Semitism is general hate, which is shown towards Jews anywhere in the world.
Very good answer. Zionism is a political concept which talks about a territory, which talks about a political territory, which talks about a sovereign territory. So anti-Zionism means not accepting a separate state for Jewish. These Jewish people, why they want a separate state? That is called as anti-Zionism. Anti-Semitism, as rightly put by Vinay, having hatred towards the community, religious community, a complete hatred towards the Jewish is called as anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is religion-oriented. Anti-Zionism is political-oriented. Very good. Yes, there is, yesterday I told you, it was not in the newspaper, but I told the Supreme Court Chief Justice of India went to Prime Minister's home for the sake of appointment of CBI. It came today in the newspaper. Here, it came in the newspaper today too. So tell me, famous Vinith Narayan case. What is this famous Vinith Narayan case of 1998? Nagababu?
Sir, I am not very sure, but in this case, the court gave some directions in reducing corruption, sir.
Not like, okay, please. Vinay, Kiran, I'll give the chance to Kiran.
Sorry, sir.
Bharati or Sweta?
Sorry, sir, I don't know the case.
Unaware of. Okay. Bharati.
No, sir, I'm unaware of.
Yes, see here. Anyone aware of Vinith Narayan case of 1998? See, the director is to hold the post for not less than 2 years as held by the Vinith Narayan judgment of 1998. That is the reason yesterday I discussed it. So any appointment to the director of CBI, compulsory it will be for 2 years. That judgment, that decision was been out because of Vinith Narayan case judgment, where the Supreme Court iterated that the independence, the tenure of the CBI director should be protected, so that the CBI director can act independently. On the whims and fancies of the government, the CBI director cannot be removed. And the same provision was being used as a legislation in CVC Act 2003, by which the tenure of the CBI director is safeguarded for the Director General of or Director of CBI from this judgment. Vinith Narayan case judgment. Can anyone tell me? So here the Vinith Narayan case judgment is there in the newspaper. There is a famous Prakash Singh case. It talks about what? Bharati.
Police reforms. Police reforms, sir.
Yes. Tell me some of the points from this judgment.
Sir, the main objective of the judgment is to loosen the political control on the postings and transfers of the police officers, especially those with the higher up in the hierarchy. So it, if I remember correctly, it called for an independent body to overlook the transfers and postings of officers, especially the higher level officers. It also mandated that the officers such as DGP should be given security of the tenure.
Yes.
Certainty of the tenure.
Yes. Yesterday also we discussed the same CBI as caged parrot. Yes. Again, there is something called as Ayushman Bharat. From the newspaper itself I am taking. US vaccines to contain deaths, vaccine for all. So there is something called as Ayushman Bharat. What is this Ayushman Bharat? Yashwant, can you? Yes, Kiran Kumar.
Sir, Ayushman Bharat, majorly has two components, sir. One is establishing health and wellness centers, which are primary healthcare centers. Secondly, insurance scheme was launched, PM Jana Arogya Yojana, where 10 crore families would be covered with insurance, sir.
Okay. So
Up to 5 lakh per family.
Okay, I'm a common man. I want to insure my family. How I can do it?
Sir, it depends from state to state, sir. Some of the states are not in this scheme. If you are in the state where the scheme is in operation, you can go to, there are appointed Arogya Mitras under the scheme. So you can approach that Arogya Mitra and get the document verification done. And,
Is it for only white card holders, means BPL people?
sorry, sir, I am not aware of that.
On the same line, one more question. Narega is for all the public of the village or only BPL public of the village?
It is for all the people, sir.
Then Vinay Vamshi, Ayushman Bharat is for BPL or for all the public?
It is not for all, sir. I'm not sure like the exact classification, but it uses the 2011 socioeconomic caste census data to decide who to get. Exact criteria I'm not able to remember, but there definitely is a criteria for selection under that.
SCECC, Socio-Economic Caste Census, correct. BPL population also. Yes. There is something called as, again, yes, here. In Chinese, in the newspaper, we observed there is something called as Lookist policy of 1992, Actist policy, Look West policy. What are all these things? Manoj Kumar?
So, Lookist policy was launched to better India's relationship with the Eastern ASEAN countries as the main focus. In the same way, Look West policy to improve relations with the Middle East countries. So, Actist policy was an extension of Lookist policy to increase the countries that we are carrying our relations in a better way, sir. I mean, say, extending it to Japan and Far East countries too, sir. As a part of it, India had bettered its relationship with ASEAN countries from 1996, sir. We have improved our economic and political relationship with those countries, sir.
So you told Asian countries. What is this tiger economics?
Tiger economy.
Vinay Vamshi?
I can't exactly.
Okay.
The tiger economics is a concept which basically any economy which follows the Japanese growth model, which is about using the export-based model and foreign investment model to increase the growth of those countries, is usually termed as a tiger-based economies. Usually, it's also referred to as during the 1990s when there was a huge growth in the ASEAN countries. That was when that term was usually referring to those countries: Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia.
Singapore. Tiger economies, Harati. Anyone more in detail about tiger economies? Why? Because it's a model whereby the Indian economy can learn the lessons. Very quick growth, mainly the Singapore, as rightly put forward by the Vinay, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. So very faster, quicker rate of growth rate happened by replicating the model of Japanese and South Korean economic models. Yes. What is Buddhist diplomacy? The same is there. The Buddhist diplomacy is there here. What is Buddhist diplomacy? Harati? Nagababu?
Sir, several of these Asian countries, Buddhism is also a major religion. And as the country where Buddhism originated, India has a leverage. People to people contacts and cultural connects are some of the flanks of diplomacy. So we can leverage these flanks to establish better relations with these nations.
Very good,
That is,
Nagababu. Very good. Very good. Yes, Kiran Kumar, Buddhist diplomacy.
India is a land of Buddhism, sir. Many of the Southeast Asian countries, countries like China, Japan, also has Buddhism. Using this Buddhism connect, establishing cultural connect uh, in the diplomacy and foreign policy is called Buddhist diplomacy, sir.
Very good. So, very radical question I'm going to ask you now. Everyone focus, please. See, if anything happens to minorities in India, Muslims, then the total world will awake. If anything happens to Palestinians by Israel, the total world will awake. If anything happens in Arab nations against Muslims, the whole world will awake. Then what happened to the same Muslims who got historically persecuted Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province by the Chinese people? Why the world is silent? Mainly the Arab world is silent. Why Pakistan is silent?
Sir, I believe it's because China has well-established economic relations with all the countries. And secondly, China has managed to cover up the whole issue. It does not promote international reporting on the issue. It keeps on slamming any adverse reporting on what is happening inside. It tries to portray the whole situation as some kind of developmental activities being taken in favor of the Muslims themselves.
Then what Arab League? Then what GCC? If they portray, the same thing can be done in other parts of the world. So one first point, what you told is 100% correct. They are economically connected to China. For example, Iran is economically connected to China. Pakistan economically connected to China. Saudi Arabia economically connected to China. So that means more than the religion, more than the politics, geopolitics, economics is playing the major role with respect to China, isn't it?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Any answer, anyone? Contrary answer or supporting answer? Yes.
Sir, I also feel that there are a few countries where global pressure doesn't work, like extremist countries. No, like the traditional values, whichever you want to project, be it equality or fair treatment of minorities, don't work in such countries like communist countries or extremist countries, dictatorships. Usually doesn't work out because their internal politics is entirely different. There are no levels of pressure which can be applied internally in those countries, be it the freedom of expression or anything. So usually doesn't work. I feel on these extreme countries. So it's usually a failed. Even before doing anything, it's a failed project trying to change the status quo in those countries.
I will tell you one factual thing. 1991, in Xinjiang province, the population of Uyghur Muslims, the Muslim religion population was 82%. After 2 decades, that means after 1991, 2001, 2011, 2021, 30 years, 3 decades, the population of the Muslims reduced to 42%. So is it not the concern? Means it's an issue, need to be discussed by Pakistan, need to be discussed by...
Sir,
Yes.
I mean, China actually even, they destroyed their own internal culture, be it Buddhism or whatever religions there. So I don't think they do not care if it is Islam or Buddhism. So for them, all religions are equally there to
My
be.
question is what this Arab League is doing, what this GCC is doing. The same people who are vociferous against Israel, against India or any other country, then why not for...
Sir, even in case of Palestine conflict issue, recently most of the Arab countries have reconciled their relations with Israel, and with this and there is no progress on the whole Palestinian issue. And now we are seeing so much of conflict again, and we don't see Arab countries talking for Palestine either. So I think in recent years the economic relations are more dominating rather than going by religion.
Very good.
So can I
Soumitra,
add some?
yes, please.
So I feel China and Arab League nations are majorly authoritarian countries. So they don't want Arab leagues or Arab nations human rights equation or human rights to be questioned, sir. So they maintain that silence with respect to China too. And the second factor is that over a period, Arab League hasn't been questioning India too severely with respect to Kashmir too, sir. And India is to a certain extent dependent on those countries, but not as such China is such. So I think China might have escaped through that route.
Soumitra,
Sir,
what do you say? So is it, as Harati told, it is economy is playing a major role, as Manoj told, it is because of the clandestine or secret thing or keeping it very classified that the information will not come out, or as Vinay told that it is because of the ideologies of the country. Some of the countries are having their ideology, they won't allow. So what do you say as PSAR?
sir, I'm sorry. I just joined. I missed the overall.
My question is, what is happening in Muslims is unheard by Arab League and GCC. But what rest of the world, whatever is happening to the Muslims, they are raising their voice, but not against the China.
Okay.
Why is it so? Is it economy, or is it a communist model, or is it because of they are not allowing the information to come out?
Sir, I think it's a mix of all these factors, definitely, because firstly, it is majorly about the information, sir. Information is not properly being taken out of the Xinjiang province, and there are a lot of NGOs and human rights groups which have been trying to get information but have failed to get considerable uh, truth out of the regions. And the other thing also that China's BRI has in fact involved many countries in its grasp. For example, in the from the Arab world or from the African region and European region. So they are not completely able to stand against the China because of the economic dependence they are building with China in the future. So I think that is also one of the reasons.
Very good. Yes. The next in the newspaper is prisoners and judicial consigns. Can anyone tell me one factual question? This is factual question. One committee constituted to study about the prisoners reforms.
Malimat Committee.
Yes, correct. Very good. Very good. So this article is speaking that now enough of prisons. Now we will focus on house arrest. So if we want to punish it, we will stop sending the convicted into the prisons, and we will make them to be in the house arrest. From this context, the news article is speaking about. So my question is whether the conditions in prisoners are improved since independence, or how it is there. Manoj Kumar.
So Indian jails to this day are overcrowded, sir. And various reports have put out that Indian jail conditions are in of the global standards, sir. So I feel Indian prisoners are in at any better state from independence. But over a period, oversight of judiciary has increased, and now district magistrates are taking grievances from the prisoners, sir. In few levels, it has increased, but structurally the problems remain same, sir.
Yes. Do you advocate house arrest in spite of prisons?
Sir, yes, sir. Indian legal system need reforms. The criminal justice system, like going for house arrest or going for community service, are needed, sir. But it depends on the crime or the other thing.
Okay. Okay. My question, Vinay Vamshi, for you: right to bail should be a fundamental right, or should be a legal right?
I think I personally, my opinion is of the fact that only for the most serious offenses should bail not be made available, and also experiences in different parts of the world have shown that putting conditions, or either monetary or otherwise, for bail kind of increase the iniquities in the society. So if bail has to be made available, it should be disconnected from the socio-economic status of the person under trial.
Yes. Harati, what is the status of right to bail in India?
Sorry, sir, I'm not exactly aware of.
There is a recent judgment on right to bail. Anyone aware of it?
Sir, I don't know about the recent judgment, but the status of right to bail is that bail is currently linked to the bond that the convict need to present. So, persons with low economic standards were not able to afford it, and it is only the rich who are making use of this right to bail, sir. And also, right to bail should be made. Not to bail should be made only as an exception, and in every other case right to bail should be allowed, sir, only when the prisoner has the capacity to influence the uh, evidences, then only it shouldn't be allowed, sir.
On the same lines, I am going to ask you two questions. What is the difference between compoundable offense and non-compoundable offense? Cognizable offense and non-cognizable offense?
Sure. Compoundable offense. Sorry, sir. Not able to recall.
Harati.
The cognizable offense is when the charges can be dropped at a certain stage through the trial.
By compromise?
It's up to the person who has made the complaint, sir. Non-cognizable is these are more severe cases where you cannot drop the charges. It's put in place as a precaution against any kind of forcing the complainant to withdraw for such things.
Compoundable, non-compoundable?
Sir, I can try, sir.
Yes.
Compoundable is, I think, where reconciliation can happen.
Okay.
Where I think it is not very severe, and where the victim and the perpetrator
where parties can come for compromise. Okay.
Yes,
Next.
yes, sir. So that is compoundable, and non-compoundable. I think non-compoundable is when the crime is considered as a serious crime, which impacts the society at large, and that is why the state does not even allow this compromise.
What is bailable and non-bailable warrant? Simple, no?
Can I?
Yes. Yes, please.
So coming to the cognizable versus non-cognizable thing, it is that cognizable thing, a person can be arrested only if a warrant is issued through
Yes.
courts.
Warrant is necessary.
It's a non-cognizable warrant is needed.
Yes,
Bailable thing.
what Soumitra told. Yes.
Yes, a non-bailable cases are those where bail can be sanctioned only through courts.
Yes.
Bails can't be given at the police station.
Yes.
Yes. Regarding non-compoundable, one example is SC/ST Atrocities Prevention Act.
Yes, as a sexual assault. Yes. Who will be taking care about the prisons? Which national commission will be taking care about the welfare of the prisoners and prisons?
Human Rights Commission, sir.
National Human Rights Commission. Yes, Harati, in place of prisons, can we go for house arrest? What is your opinion on the same?
Yes, sir, we can definitely look at house arrest as one of the options because our prisons are clearly overcrowded. So I think it could be utilized at least for some category of less serious cases.
Yes. Now, in this COVID times, what specific measures other than the government which took like Atmanirbhar 1, 2, 3 as economic advisor to the government of India, if you, then what measures you can suggest to the government for the MSME sector? Anyone? Why? Because RBI asks bank to quickly implement COVID package. This COVID package is with respect to credit flow for MSME sector. So other than the government steps, what you will recommend for the MSME sector?
Sir, most of the MSMEs are facing the problem of market access. So I think this pandemic situation creates an opportunity for them to enter the online market. So we must provide them support to undertake online operations,
Very
selling and buying.
Very, very good. Very innovative. Very good.
Yeah, this is
Very
something I can think of.
Next, anything? Sounds good. This, yes. Where everything is online now. Yes. If who is not in internet, that business is dead. According to Microsoft owner, any business should enter the internet. Any more such? Why? Because government didn't took any reforms like that. They are telling use digital economy, digital money, but everything should be entered into internet now.
Sir, I think
Yes.
government can utilize the employment to provide employees. So MSMEs, sir, are not able to get the profits today because their margins are very less, and because of that, they are also not able to function, and that has led to a lot of unemployment. So maybe government can integrate Manrega into very small enterprises, and it can provide employment to the people at the same time, and at the same time revive those small enterprises back into business.
Okay, very good. But how? Okay. Sounds good. Sounds very different. So Narega workers will be working in micro enterprises.
Yes, sir.
Yes, very
So
good.
just like how some states have started using Manrega for agricultural labor,
Okay.
they have integrated, so we could perhaps do something with that.
Sounds good. Yes, very good. Very good. Yes. My question is, Saumitraj, what is the definition of micro, small, and medium enterprises? Anyone?
Sir, I don't remember the figures.
Anyone with numbers? Actual question, but it's important. MSMEs in two, is there a goods and services?
That classification has been done away with, sir, in the recent notification.
Very good. Yes. So what is the new definition of MSME?
I'm not able to recall the moment, sir. Sorry.
Yes. So tomorrow with the tomorrow's news, yes, please.
So, I was saying the new definition, rather than investment, it focuses on the turnover of the companies. So earlier, it removes the bias it had, the definition earlier had towards the manufacturing companies. Now services and goods, both of them are equally are an equal field, and they'll be categorized as micro, small, or medium based on their turnover.
Correct. Tomorrow, with tomorrow's newspaper, I will come with MSME content. You also prepare MSME. I will be we will be having the discussion on MSME sector tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.